This one is going to bite a little bit because you might have this perfect life, but you're at risk when you're struggling with a hurt habit or a hang up. And the reason why I'm doing this video, which I thought quite a bit about whether I'd want to do this or not, is that I don't want you to be the dad that premeditates strangling your 5-year-old son to death. So why would I hesitate on this? And the reason why I'm hesitating, or I hesitated on doing this video, is because this just happened 2 days ago, not more than 3 miles from my home. This father premeditated how to kill his 5-year-old son by strangling him. He spent most of the night up trying to decide how and if he was going to do it. But even more disturbing is the guy spent a week premeditating it, and he even got knives out, had knives laid out as he thought over this, doing this. Now, we hear about people doing bad things all the time, but this guy is a 45-year-old guy who lives in an upper middle class neighborhood, a nice home, a nice place. I have several friends that know this family. The father, he's an up and coming respected executive vice president in a super regional insurance company, which is headquartered in my hometown here. His wife is a kindergarten teacher at a local Catholic school, and they're well known. They're respected. People really think highly of them. If you look at their Facebook posts, they have pictures of the family. Their home obviously looks very nice. I mean, they look like the all-American couple with kids, and they've done great things, been out, traveled, and so on. They are people that you would not think would be in this situation, and there's been no issues with this family prior to this incident. Nobody could see this coming, or that I'm aware of, but there's no police record, no history. The couple have a daughter who is older than the boy who was strangled. And again, they're like the perfect family, which we know there is no perfect family, but everybody has struggles. But to this extent, what would cause this man to go down this path after living a model life, or what appears to be a model life? As a matter of fact, I found it very interesting as I read the articles in the news media. The district attorney spoke out who's going to be prosecuting the father, and the district attorney asked the public to refrain from contacting the mother and the family, to give them time to grieve, and talking about how difficult this is for the mother and the family, and just please respect them so that they can grieve, because this is just a horrible thing for them. And you can tell that, the district attorney has there's not going to be anything to say that the mother or anybody else did anything wrong, that this is 100% on the father, and they know it. As a matter of fact, when the police showed up to try and help, the child was still warm, and they tried to do life resuscitation efforts, and even though they failed, they transported to the hospital, and they kept on trying, and they could not revive the child. But at the scene, the police came in and they asked the mother what happened, and she said the father strangled her child, and she was trying to save the child. And they turned and went to the father and asked him if that was true, and he said yes, it was true, and he readily admitted to everything that he had done. He was taking accountability for his actions, and this is just amazing that this would happen. But the reason why I decided to do this video is because it made me realize that um, with what I encounter, what I hear out of men, and I don't know what it's like for the women because I stick to working with men in the recovery program, but I'm heavily involved in my church, and I know through my church and through other men in the community, because we get into conversations, that I hear of struggles of men that look perfect. They are upstanding citizens, but then they come and they'll share their struggles, and we typically have, when they're sharing, like, so for example, if somebody's got an alcohol problem and they sit at home and they drink in their chair every night, but they have this, like, they're like model people in the community. They'll have guilt, and they'll reveal it in private, and sometimes I'm the person that they reveal that to. And so I invite them to come into the recovery program. And it typically happens that this type of person will come in and only come for a few times, and then they'll find alternatives because it's uncomfortable to be in with people who have hit rock bottom. They are concerned about, well, I can't say for 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that they end up being concerned about their image, and then the deniability comes into play, and they quit coming thinking that they've got everything under control. But the truth is that you have to continue to work it, and it's really hard for somebody who doesn't hit rock bottom because they have this image to uphold, and they in their own mind, and they think that if other people know that they're drinking or they're abusive or that they're doing things beyond that, maybe it's watching explicit things online regularly, which I'm finding that I would say that the majority of men do watch explicit material that they don't want other people to know because that might hurt their status in the community or with their friends, and that's dangerous. And so I can only imagine that somebody that has so much going for them, that has been so outgoing, that something has happened to trigger this father. And I'm afraid to know what that is, considering that he was so focused in on this 5-year-old boy that that this all came about, and maybe could have been avoided if uh, if men would be comfortable reaching out, if men would start to realize that they have safe places that they can go if they've done something wrong, that you can go and you can repent for what you've done, that you can get help working through your struggles, and you can get it done. You can get it in private. So you can go through recovery, and you can have accountability partners. You can have people that walk with you, that will listen to you, that will help you to choose the right path, so that you can overcome and you can make amends, that you can turn the situation around, and that you can free yourself of the guilt, and at the same time, you can go back and work to repair your situation rather than letting it come to a boiling point where you do something drastic that will damage you, will change the course for life. And yes, let's say something did happen between this father and the son. There's damage there, but you can also use that as an opportunity to to step out and do what is right, to try and work through it, to help the child, to help the family in the best way possible. You can't undo the past, but what you can do is you can work to overcome. And then when you work to overcome what you've done, you can take that and you can have forgiveness. And there, some people may not forgive you, but you can get right with God. You can get right with yourself, and you can do the right thing. And then you can learn how to help other people to avoid that situation, that maybe have temptations or thoughts that haven't gone as far or haven't done what you've done. But yet you can identify those things, and if they are struggling, and if they come to you, that as you go through the process, you can pay it forward and you can help so that these situations don't happen to other people. This is just, it's heartbreaking to know that this family is going to have to suffer with the loss of their 5-year-old, that the 5-year-old went through this. And even when you go through recovery, you learn to grieve for the father who has done this act, that he has cornered himself so much so that likely this guy has just went from having a life that many men would dream of having to he's going to be incarcerated for the rest of his life. And he's admitting guilt of it. He's taking responsibility. I at this point with this man, I would be surprised that it would shock me that he does anything but plead guilty. And I know that's a rare case, and there's a good possibility that he won't. That he'll plead not guilty, and that they'll do an insanity or they'll do something, because this guy's he's just come right out and admitted everything, and he's owned it. But why couldn't he just own what his problem was a week ago? If he would have had the opportunity to come to a recovery program, to reach out, they're a member of the local Catholic Church, and if he just wouldn't have confessed, if he would have reached out for help. And I think men are so afraid to reach out for help, but we need a dose of humility. We need to be vulnerable. We need to be willing to take a step forward. And, I'm going to be, in my future videos, I'm going to be discussing masculinity, because society has got masculinity so messed up. And we intersect masculinity with bullying and with being idiots. That's not masculinity. So if we focus more on what it is to step up and be a stand-up guy, that this might not have happened, because this guy, he obviously had a lot of healthy things going for him, and something went wrong. Something was wrong. Something was hidden in that story. And if that's you, go find somebody. Go to a pastor. Go to an Al-Anon meeting, which is Friends and Family of Alcoholics. And even if you don't have any alcohol in your family, go to one of those meetings and just sit in and share, and they'll have resources. If you're not in the right place, that meeting will have resources to direct you to another place that fits for what you need, or where you can get help. But you have to open your heart, and you have to be willing to accept that help, to be willing to go to rock bottom, because some people, and I have some people that are around me right now that They know they're doing wrong. They know that every day they are going down the wrong path. They know, in cases of the people I'm working with, some of them are very well versed Christians that they know the Bible really well. They can quote scripture. They can be just the stand up great people that have all the advantages to them, and that can be a detriment to them because they're being enabled through codependent people, and codependent people are people that try to fix problems of other people. They have that need to fix problems, and what they do is they create an environment that the person that's struggling cannot hit rock bottom to make a decision that they want to change their lives, that they're willing to change their lives, or that they feel like they have to change their life because it's not going to work out anymore. Instead, they coddle them and they carry them all the way through. So there's all these types of circumstances that will lead to an event like this. And if we really want to make a difference, we have to get these people to feel like that they can be in a position where they can seek help, and then encourage them to be vulnerable, encourage them to have humility and to stand up and not wait until after everything's crashed to take responsibility. I hated, I don't want to say I hated, I did not, I've thought for several days about doing, not several days, but I've thought for the last couple of days since this has happened about whether I should come on and do this video, because I don't want it to be a burden on anybody in my community. If people see it, I don't want to attract attention to the family, but I feel this is so important, and I know that there is so much more to the story with the father, and there's a good possibility that the wife, the family, doesn't know the story. They don't know the story, and in this situation, and that this guy was so there's something there that caused him to trigger this bad, to feel like that this would be a way out. But yet he's destroyed his life. He's destroyed his family. He's destroyed everything. So there's going to have to be a lot of healing. This family's been through a ton of trauma, and the friends are through trauma. So I just hope and pray that men wake up, be vulnerable, show humility, go find people that you can talk to work through this before you get into this point. Don't do this to your family. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.